Good afternoon, or I think everyone is in afternoon mode right now until West Africa. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I think it's the fourth this year. How many have we done, Viola? Three so far.
Yeah, this should be our fourth.
Cool. Our fourth. Yeah, cool. Perfect. Our fourth webinar, and today we have several people from Tunga that I will introduce later on. Today we're talking about how developers will be able to grow their skills, and mainly focusing on how they can do it the Tunga way. Here we're looking at developers who have already joined, or who would most likely like to join Tunga, but maybe they lack some skills here and there. This webinar is focused on this particular topic, and I really want to welcome you all. I can see people are joining slowly but surely. My job is to do the introductions and also give you some few housekeeping rules as we go on. So, Alex, next.
How much are you paid for your job? What's your hourly?
All right. Starting off with head of talent, I'll be joined by Viola, who will have a deep dive in what this webinar is all about. She is the head of talent at Tunga. I've had a pleasure of knowing Viola for how many years? 6, 7, 8, very many years, even before I joined Tunga. I myself, I'll be around. I'll be part of the crew of the team. I'm a talent manager, and for the first time ever, the first debut here, we're welcoming Alex Shaka, who is our curriculum developer. Hi, Shaka, how are you?
Hi, how you doing? Welcome,
Good,
everyone.
good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, you don't see someone. She's called Lynn Naluwanga, and she'll be saying some things here and there during our poll section. So I would like to welcome you again, and we can start off. Let me give you a thorough introduction of what is going to happen. Can you go to the next slide, please? Good. Before that, we'll just have some housekeeping rules. During this webinar, we'll expect to hear questions from you. And of course, questions are the ones that help you understand more what we do at Tunga. We have a Q&A section there. Please feel free to use it on your Zoom. It's very important that you keep asking questions, and at the end, we shall be able to answer them, or if possible, we can answer them as the webinar goes on. Generally, if you have other questions, maybe later on, please feel free to leave them in our Slack channel. We shall be able to answer them. Next screen, please. Good. So, as I said before, this webinar, we shall be talking about who is the main target for this webinar. I'll give you clues, existing and those who want to join, and see how this affects you as an attendee. Or if you want to join now, or if you already joined, what problems are you facing? We expect such questions at the end of the day, and how you'll be able to benefit from our learning platform, which we are calling the Tunga Academy. Not only will you be learning, but you'll also be tested on different skill sets. That way you'll be able to join Tunga, and you'll be able to enjoy the benefits, the people who are currently on the platform and working with our clients, the benefits they are currently having. We shall also be talking about how we can bridge the gap between your skill set and what is actually stopping you from joining Tunga. From our experience, we see that many people could be having skills, but for one way or another, they keep on applying, but they never land a gig on Tunga. So as a talent team, we shall be giving you tips that you'll be using in order to succeed and land yourself that gig you've been dreaming of. We are in company of our demo guy, Mr. Alex, who will be giving us a good demo of this testing and learning platform. Please, I really advise everyone who is attending the webinar to make sure they keep the attentive at the time, because this is the platform you'll be using. It will be the gateway, your gateway into Tunga. So please keep an eye out for that. Later on, we shall talk about our future plans, what the talent team how we want to grow as Tunga, and how you think you'll be able to grow with us. at Tunga. And finally, we shall be doing a Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Viola to take on from this and give you a deep dive of what I've introduced. Thank you.
Next slide, Alex. Thank you very much, Roger. I'm definitely thrilled to talk about the Tunga Academy and what plans we have. But to give a better picture, I'd want to give an overview of how we get there, right? So we have people that apply to Tunga, and as of the last quarter, as of the last half, January to June, we had over 465 people sending the application via our join at tunga.io join channel, right? What happens when you send in your application? The first step is that you get a CV screen. And as you can see that at this stage, we are having 72 people meet our entry requirements. So our requirements are how many years of experience do you have in industry? Also, is it specialized years of experience? And then are you also applying to join Tunga when you know CSS, HTML, and JavaScript? I'm not downplaying them, but we're looking for senior software developers, which means we need to be able to do more than that. So why do we have dropouts or the rejected arrows? To show that at every stage of the onboarding process, there are people that are dropping off. So if your CV check passes, you then do the coding test, and then you do the soft skills test, and then you do the comms test. And from 70 of the 72 people that meet the CV requirements, we realize that only 51% then get to complete the tests. Then when you've met all the requirements, you're invited to create a Tunga profile. And as you can tell from the 465 people, only 27% get to join Tunga, which is a bit higher from the last half of 2019. We were at 24%. And the question is, what do we do with the 73% that are either rejected or dropped out at any of the onboarding phases while applying to Tunga? Next slide. So yeah, like I said, just to emphasize that the 73% comprises of the people that are rejected, so they probably don't meet their score or they fail the communications check. And then we have people that drop out. They probably say, oh no, this is too long. This is too much for me. I don't have time to do these tests. But whatever their reasons are, or maybe they're going to realize that I'm not as competent as I say I am. We also have 24% dropout, and this comprises the 73% that eventually drop out. So my question then becomes, how can we as Tunga, and that's a question that the talent team has been asking, right? So people apply, they don't meet the CV check, or people apply and their test scores are low. Are we just going to ignore them? Or are we going to find a way to ensure that we keep them in our community and also for them to improve their skills? So that's what we are going to be exploring in the next conversation. Next slide. Roger, we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. To the point where I introduced Lane as well. We shall be doing this poll together. The poll is mainly looking at why did you opt to join Tunga? I know this is a normal question during interviews, but as well we want to know people who are attending this webinar. Why do you opt to join Tunga? And Lane, can you take it up from here?
Yes, please. The poll is launched.
Cool. Yeah, we can see it, and you can take us through the options from A to B to D.
So people joined Tunga for different reasons, of course, and this is the time when you can freely express your reasons. It could be because of the money. Of course, everybody needs money, everybody at some point. And then you could say it's to increase developer knowledge. Or I wanted to work 100% remotely, and Tunga is all about remote work sometimes. Or you could say to be able to work with an international client. I personally, as Lynn, have always opted and looked out for certain types of employers, for example. So yeah, here you can choose or select what you think are the real reasons why you want or why you did join Tunga. It could be one of the reasons that were then, and maybe they changed. So please go ahead and choose the best answer for this poll, and then we go
I'm
ahead.
curious, Lynn, which option would you go for before we get the results?
Or me,
Yeah.
I would say all of them, but I have reasons.
That's why I removed the. We had
Like
to remove that
everybody,
option.
like everybody,
But
like
at some,
everybody, I love money, okay? It's the reason everybody wakes up out of bed and goes wherever they go. It's money. Money moves the
True.
world, right? You can't deny it. It's just the degrees that matter, that change. Some of us like it so much, others not so much. Some of us, it determines our life, our oxygen and
True.
everything. Others,
True.
it's nothing. Okay, so yeah, money is a big deal to me. And
All right,
then
let's see the
I would say
results.
maybe to, yeah,
Let's see
close
the
this now?
results, and yeah, we can close it. It's already 45 minutes or something have passed.
Okay. Yep. Can we share these?
Please,
Yeah.
we have to see them.
I'm
We can't see.
curious.
Curious.
No
There
one
we go.
Very curious. Okay.
So, what does this tell us, Viola and Lynn? What did you deduce from this? People hate money, or they just want to work international? Oh, anyway, I think one brings in the other, in my perspective.
Shows
The
passion.
assumption is, and this is the truth, people who companies locally may end up paying less than you would get from international clients. So honestly, for me, one thing leads to another, and it's a logical choice that we are seeing currently. Viola?
Honestly, I'm committed. There's a new study that says, I think it's from University of Washington, don't quote me, that says money can actually buy happiness. So I don't know if I'm the only one who's reading this kind of content, but I would like to be happy. I'd like to be happy.
All right, next we can continue with our we continue with our next topic, please. Viola?
Yeah, so now that, well, they said at least the Tunga Academy isn't offering money, so we are safe. But like we said, the question is, what happens to the people that don't make it to creating their profiles? Are we just going to close our eyes and move away, or have we thought about how else we can give them an opportunity to improve their skills, to test their skills, and progressively to be able to join the Tunga work ecosystem? So that's how we came up with the Tunga Academy. The Tunga Academy has both the learning and the testing functionalities. Next slide, please.
Alex?
Yeah, so we've heard of learning
Yep.
platforms. Code Academy, FutureLearn, EDX, Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. Maybe at that bottom or on top of this page, we might as well add the Tunga Academy, right? Because it's now also a learning platform. So, but the question is, why should you opt out of Code Academy or FutureLearn or EDX, or not just opt, but how do you supplement your learning from these other learning platforms with the Tunga Academy? Next slide, Alex. I would like to ask, I think they can reply this in the chat channel. How many people have actually tried out any of these testing platforms to assess their coding skills competence? I'm curious. Or heard of, as a matter of fact, Codility, Testom, DevSkiller, CodeSignal, HackerRank. Could you please reply in the chat so that I know we are not trying to do something that people don't even use? Other than Pluralsight, guys, because we onboard you and we know we ask you to take tests on Pluralsight. So I'm a bit curious as to what other platforms they use. Yeah, but so like every testing platform, right? We're asking people to take tests, but everything has a limited functionality. And we have also decided to build our own testing platform, as Shaka will show us later on. I'm excited because it's part of our process, right? It's part of, for you to go through Tunga, you have to get tested, right? And while we are using Pluralsight now, we're saying no. We have also built our own testing platform, which based on the clients that we work with. So it's tailored for the Tunga developers, and that's what makes it different. So yeah.
So, from the question you asked, I think some people are doing, I've worked with DevSkiller, Codility, and HackerRank.
Nice.
So that's a good feedback.
Was that because the client wanted them to, or were they just curious?
Well, I guess so. I think it could be either way. So.
But yeah, either way. So this is what I'd call the complete Tunga ecosystem. Right now, the focus is on the goal, and whether you want to join Tunga, work either to improve your developer relations, whether you want to join Tunga work to work for international clients, right? You have to go through the Tunga Academy. If you fail, the question becomes, where am I lacking? So you go, you take a test, and you realize you're not as good at React as you thought you were. And then you go to the Tunga learning platform, you take the courses, you improve your skills, then you go back to the testing platform, and then you can present your results and get admitted to the Tunga work. So I'll be discussing the future plans at the end of this webinar. But yeah, so that's a bit of the flow. Learn, test, test, identify your gaps, learn, and then take tests and get admitted to Tunga work. So it makes it a full ecosystem. It's tailored for our developers who want to join Tunga. So either way, they're going to get tested. You might as well start to improve your skills. Yeah, that's about it. Next slide.
Yeah, the next slide will have to do with a different poll altogether. And this time around, we want to see what developers want, the expectations, what they would like to see on the Tunga or on the Tunga, on the Tunga Academy, the Tunga Academy platform. So Lynn, Alex, can we run this poll and we get feedback? And I call back Lynn to have a discussion on, on our next poll. Lynn?
She must be recovering from money.
Okay.
Can we launch the next poll, please?
Yes, please. It's on and started.
All right, you can take it up from here.
Well, development courses that you would want to see on the Tunga learning platform and testing platform. Now, this is a question that will resonate a lot better with people who have already been on our platform for sure. Because A, you would know what courses already exist, and B, you will know what courses are not on there, but that doesn't matter. If you haven't been there anyways, what would you want to see? What courses would you like to see on the Tunga learning platform? or testing platforms? What kind of tests would you like to take? Personally, I want to learn a lot of things. I don't know how
Like
long I'm
what?
going to live in life, but
You
so
only live
many
once,
things.
YOLO.
I know. I don't know if the lifetime have time for me to live here, but I really want to learn everything. So that puts me in a very hard place. But
I'm
a few
curious.
things
Sorry,
help us decide. Yeah.
I'm curious what Viola really wants to learn on the platform based on the options there.
Oh,
Yeah, Viola, tell us.
I don't see what I want to learn.
Are you a developer?
You have it all
Alex?
covered.
Really?
Right?
Maybe she
Does
was
it
looking
cater
for
for
baking
people like
cookies.
me?
Uh-huh.
Game development.
Game
Game development has been
animation.
Animation, that's where game
Mhm.
development comes in.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I think
That
I see
was-
that.
That
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Alex, where would you
For
go?
education.
Games?
Game development. Yeah,
Nice.
for
Data
education.
science. Interesting.
Yeah.
Data science, e-commerce. Come on, people, let's make this money. You're talking about money, e-commerce is just right there.
Okay, isn't this the point where we ask people why they want to learn what they want to learn anyway? Because some people just want to learn
True.
things because they sound nice. The thing
I
is,
agree.
so many like junior devs just don't know what to learn. I would say follow the money. Sometimes it's easier. Find a reason to make a decision. So why even deciding it? Think about it. Is it because it's so posh and flashy to say you actually mobile dev or data
Yeah.
scientist? Or what are you going to do with e-commerce
That's
anyway?
a good
Like,
reason.
look
That's
at the
also a
end
good
goal. For
reason.
me, as a
True,
chess
true.
player, I like to look at 5 steps ahead.
So
Why do I want to
mobile
learn
apps.
this?
True, I
Yeah.
agree with you. That's where mobile apps come in. Because if you want to follow the
And where
money,
are you
right?
going to market yourself? And wherever you're located, it could be Uganda, Kenya, or whatever, Egypt. Is that the thing they need where you are? Or what's the point of learning it and die with it? Because you have the knowledge, you can't sell it. Yeah, at the
True.
end of the day, it goes back to the money. Whatever you have, can it buy you anything?
True.
Because our target is international clients, Lean. I thought we established.
But she also has her personal goals. So that personal goals should intertwine with Tunga goals and get international clients. It's a two-way thing. So people who are
Yeah.
voting, please, you have several options. Before I say anything, Alex, you ready to say something, Alex?
I'm good.
Sorry, you're good? All right, I
Yes,
think it's
I'm
okay.
good.
All right, good. So either web development, data science, mobile apps, game, or web development, databases, software testing, or e-commerce. I think we can stop the voting and we go discuss the results and see. Oh, mixed bag. Interesting.
Wow.
Basically, people are influenced by e-commerce. Interesting.
E-commerce and game development. Yeah.
Actually, there are three:
Played anything.
e-commerce, game development, and software testing. That's pretty interesting. But I think software testing cuts across.
Yeah.
It cuts across everything because each and every category will be tested in whichever form. So it cuts a little bit across. So, Lynn, are you still following the money based on these poll results?
E-commerce, yes.
All right.
Follow the money. Yes, yes, with Tunga's intentions at the back of everybody's mind. Yeah.
Everybody. So we're exactly in time, and it's time for the big reveal, the big demo. All right, next, we can go to the next slide. We can close this poll. Thanks a lot, guys, for your contribution. We can go next, and I open the floor to Alex.
Yeah. The
I
work.
guess the big moment is here. The big moment is here. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a lag, so you bear with me on that. Just a minute. Okay. Can you guys still see the screen? I'll just move over to this tab. I hope you can tab.
We can see. But
Great.
what tab are we seeing? How did
sir.
you get there? I have like a zillion questions for you, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a minute. I'll just log out and then kind of start from the beginning.
All right.
Sorry, my network is a little bit slow, but we'll get there in a minute.
It's called the generous effect. I'll teach it to you
The what?
someday. The generous effect. It's a long story.
Good General Kai.
All right.
Let's focus.
Hopefully. So guys, so this is the Tunga learning platform that was recently launched and is live now by our awesome developers at Tunga. So to get to the platform, it's the URL is right here. If you can see where I've highlighted academy.tunga.io, and you can create an account. It's free to open an account. You can create an account right here. Create an account. You receive an email, and then you verify. I've already created an account here in my email and my password. So I can just hit the login and I'll be in. In case you forget your password, you know the usual drill. You hit forgot password, and then that would be verified as well. So I'll just log in right here. So the curriculum developer at Tunga. So the content that is actually developed here is developed by moi, yours truly.
Wow.
I must say I'm proud of it.
Bravo.
You should be. Show off.
With your lovely assistant, thank you.
There's an
Yes,
assistant,
I love
apparently.
Lean, the awesome Lean, make sure that the grammar is right and the sentences are correct. Which is not an easy job. But every week we launch a course at the beginning, at least. We're trying to get the platform running, so that by the time we launch, we have enough courses for the people that we want to serve, you, the developers. We reached out to some people also and asked you, if you remember time back, which courses you'd prefer to have on the platform, what you'd want to learn, and we listened. So you see right now, when you log in the landing page, you can see where the courses are. They're right here. You can see if you can check your settings. If you want to check your settings, you can change them from here. Add your avatars, change your username, and all that stuff. You can also then add your socials and things like that. Set your notifications that come through your email and also desktop notifications. All that stuff can be done there. So come back to the courses here. Hold on a minute. Yeah, so you can also load out from here. So for example, if you're interested in a course like React, all you have to just click on the course and you're there. But I just wanted to show you that we don't only cover technical courses, we also understand that to be a wholesome developer, you just don't need to be just technically competent, but you also need to have the soft skills. And the fact that most of us, and I saw the poll was saying that a lot of you want to work with international companies. So just understanding how to work with clients online is very important. In our remote work, a lot of you also, quite a big number of you said you like to work remotely. So effective communication is also something that is important and grasp, especially when you're working in a remote setting. Even in a normal setting, it's important, but if it's greatly emphasized when you're working remotely. Understanding your situation and being able to integrate into teams and things like that. All those soft skills are also covered, and we shall continue to provide more courses. Right now, this is what we have, but I'll just launch one of this with the start course from here. Great. Okay, so you can see here in the top left that course 12 modules and 44 lessons. So that's how it's broken down. It's a module, then under every module, there are different lessons, which are the actual courses that you go through. In case there are any attachments on the course, you'll be able to see them here, but there are none for this course at the moment. They're not really written in stone. They're living documents, so they change. So in case there are changes will be communicated. Also, if you've set up notifications, you should be able to do those if there are any changes. Right, so this is where you start from. There's a brief overview. You can see here, this is the pure React without the fancy extras like Redux, hooks, and more. By the end of the course, you'll be able to build amazing React single-page applications. Yeah, so this is a pure React course, and all you have to do is just click Start Course. Yeah, so this is where all this is where the content goes. So there's a brief overview here. You can see the learning objectives, and also right here on the right, you can also see your progress through the different lessons and modules. But you can also see a list if you want to just browse through and see what this is about and what the content is. Right here on the right, you should be able to scroll through it and see. You can also skip through the different lessons from here. And every module gives you an overview and the learning objectives and what are you trying to achieve. But what we hope for you to have achieved by the time you finish the course, or even at the module level. So it's also important to understand where you need to go. And then you'd have resources and then content. And some of the content also has videos and things like that. So you can then just browse through. Or you can also use these different arrows. Move to the next lesson. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Cool.
I don't know whether we're taking questions now.
No, like we can give you questions. Like how many frameworks are we supporting currently?
Yeah, so currently we are supporting, as you can see here, so we're supporting React, we're supporting Node.js, Python Django, Ruby on Rails, and I think PHP Laravel. So but currently on the platform, these are the courses that we have. So we have pure React, Node, and Rails, and Django should be next week.
It will be interesting to know why you chose those particular frameworks to begin with.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually did a poll one time with the developers. I don't know if the developers still remember. We actually did a poll and asked the developers what they would like to, and based on that, that informed a decision to choose the courses that we should start with. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and what did this poll reveal? That people like a lot of React most, Node.js most. What do you recall the output of the poll?
I don't recall the exact percentages, but so it was just, so the way the courses are actually put together, like the way they have been uploaded onto the platform is so that the importance was based on how much people learn, what framework people want to learn. So React came up as topmost, and that's what we started with, and then Node, and then Rails, and then Python Django will be next.
All right. My last one. If you're a developer and you come on this platform and you do maybe a pure React course, at what level of proficiency do you expect this developer to have by the end of the course?
Intermediate level.
So
our courses right now currently that we have, they take you from beginner to intermediate level. And so when we're testing, that's how we test.
Interesting. Viola, anything you want to ask?
Yeah. But in the future, we're definitely going to build more senior targeted level courses, as well as the ability to be able to test for that knowledge. Yeah.
So there's a question which I don't know if I should respond to at the end about
At the end,
if,
that's at the end. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Let's focus on the course for now, as I would like people to digest exactly what has been done and appreciate where we're going in the future. So my final question is that if I'm a developer and I start I get a course here and I start doing it, am I assured of getting hooking up a Tunga gig after this, my intermediate level, with my intermediate level knowledge? What do you think?
I think maybe Viola can take on that question. I think probably should be better placed.
So essentially, it's we can all learn, but can we show that we've learned, right? So like we have a limit on Pluralsight on what marks or what percentage we get on the score for you to be able to onboard the platform, right? It's going to be the same case with our testing platform, that whether you've learned on here and you've actually learned and not just skimmed through the content, you should be able to take a test, and if you pass the test as per our requirement, you then get onboarded on the platform. I think it's straightforward. Learn, meet the requirement, get onboarded.
All right, cool. So we go to testing. Is that where you're going to demo now, or you finished everything as well, Alex?
So that's what I'm going to demo now, just briefly.
Perfect.
Just kind of browse the test. So I'll just kind of show you from the beginning. All right. Okay, so this is our testing platform, and you could see from the learning platform, you could directly go there. You'd have to you can get started by creating an account, but I've just created one already.
Okay, cool.
They'll get in there. So this is what we have. So right there on the landing page, again, this is the URL, testing.tunga.io. So that should be able to take you there, and you log in if you've created an account already. And on the dashboard, you can see currently we have 3 tests. That's the Node.js test, the React test, PHP test. So currently the platform can test, the tests are language specific, not yet test framework specific, but that's coming. That's in probably the next iteration. I'll need to verify that. But so if you're doing a Node.js test, you go through multiple choice questions, and then also do about 10 multiple choice questions, and there are 5 coding questions, so in total 15 questions. So you can choose the test from here. So after you've done a couple of tests, you should be able to click here and see if you have any. So there are no tests here. All your notifications, or if you've finished, if you failed the test, if you passed the test, this should be able to be outlined here. You should be able to see everything right there. That's your profile. You can make your changes, update your profile, update your passwords, your emails, the usual. This also links you back to the learning platform in case you want to go back and kind of brush your knowledge again on some of the things that you'd like to concretize. But if I go back here to the test, then it brings me back to my dashboard. And I can say, for example, pick a React test and just click there. Before we go there, I think these are not yet done, but coming through, but I'll just go to the test quickly. Okay. So you see here on the landing page of the test, it tells you it's a technical test, the amount of the estimate of the time that it should take, 15 tasks. So that includes all the multiple choice questions and the coding tests, and then who's logged in. So a bit of what the test is about, the skills, the level, and then it gives you that. So
sorry, I've seen you have a countdown. Sorry, I've seen you have a countdown does the countdown, is the 5 hours and 4 minutes, does it actually count down, and when the time reaches, the system stops?
Yes, it does.
Stop. Okay, cool, perfect.
So again, right here in the top right is where the button is, start test. So if you're ready, you're about to start this test question. When you're ready, click on start test to begin. And here we go. Yeah, so these are the multiple choice questions. So you could
Dark mode, I like that. I like dark mode.
Dark mode everything, even dark mode.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah, I know, objectives. My question now comes to this. How fresh will this content be in terms of the questions? Do you plan to refresh them maybe after 3 months, 6 months, a year? Because does it make sense if I apply once, fail the test, come back again, I find the same questions? I'm learning nothing at the same time. So what do you have any plans to change these questions in the future, or they'll be static?
No, they definitely won't be static. It wouldn't make sense if it's static. They'll keep changing. We'll definitely work on a schedule. I can't say what the schedule is right now, but definitely it should be on a schedule. We'll make sure that if you're taking the test, you're not taking the question over and over again. They'll be changing.
Yeah. Already say final question, but I'm not sure if it's final. I'm putting myself in the shoes of a developer. I'm watching the webinar. I'm fearing to ask questions, but this is a question one would think of. And this may go to Viola. What is the pass mark one should get to be considered as a pass for any test? I know we currently use something on Pluralsight, but for the Tunga platform, what do you envision to be the pass mark?
To be honest, right, I would like to say we don't have it written in stone, because you sort of see what the general scores are, right? So we could say 50% for intermediate, but some tests are hard, and the highest score is probably like 35. So usually we find the average, and then we use that to come to the least or to the highest you should attain to be able to get admitted. That doesn't answer you, but yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get,
I was expecting. Hello.
don't get 0.
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Anyway, please, let's go on, Shaka. Sorry about that.
All right, no, that's cool. That's cool. So this is what the coding question would look like. So if you see on the left, we have the question. Given an array of integers, return indices of 2 numbers, such that, that's
looks
where
familiar.
all that goes. Yeah,
Question
it
looks
does.
familiar.
You want to solve it for us?
Before. I've done the question before.
I'm ready to type.
Unfortunately, we're out of time and time limitations.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So that's how it would work. So you'd have that. You'd have a question, and this would be like your IDE, your integrated development environment, and then when you run, your output should be able to show here. Okay.
So the IDE also grabs errors and all that. Syntax errors. Am I able to? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it does, and it's still of course being improved as we go along. So if anything is a bit off, just just reach out and give feedback. Our developers will be able to sort that out. Yeah. So I've kind of skimmed through it. So it tells you you're done, and you can confirm that.
I can't wait to see your results.
Right. So if I come right here, I got 10%. Definitely failed.
So it goes back to my question. What does the system consider as a pass?
Yeah. I think
for
right
now,
it's at 80%.
All right, cool.
I think right now it's 80%.
But what I understand, sorry for interrupting you. What I understand is that the talent team has no set mark yet, but the development team envisions an 80% and above.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
there's still hope to fail
Yeah.
or to pass.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. So
So
that's
I
pretty
can
much it
see.
for me.
Sorry, I can see it links back to the learning platform, correct?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Cool. And the notification feature, what does it do?
Yeah. So if you've set up your notification, so the notifications are already set in. Just a minute. I'll just check where my profile is. Right here. No, they're not here. So what comes here is, for example, after the if there's any information, like if you've read a book, because you can book to do, let's say, a test in a week's time. So all those notifications would come here. If you have been assigned a test, those notifications would come here. So this is where all that communication between the developer and the testing team happens, and that's where you'd find it. And it would indicate if you have any notifications pending.
So from what I gather, someone that's setting a test should be able to create a test and then invite people that they would like to take the tests, and then they can find the notifications therein.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's correct.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Next.
Right. So that's it. If I go back to the presentation.
All right.
Good to go. Should be, that's where we,
Viola, please feel free to come in here. No, go back.
I think we've already gone through this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I brought it back to reiterate, and that's also going to tie into the future plans. So if you could just go to the next slide briefly. So as you've seen, we have the learning, the testing, and we have the actual Tunga work. So where you get to apply to opportunities, see what opportunities are being created. And the goal is that we have a single sign-on, which is the SSO, so that with your account, you can be able to take the tests and learn. The difference is you can't access the Tunga work if you haven't met the requirements, right? So it's that you can access it, but you can't see opportunities, you can't express interest in opportunities. And then when you meet the test, the required score, right, there's going to be like an automatic onboarding, and then you can start to use the Tunga work. So which is why we had that flow before. As you have seen, we are still working on tests, and every week we release a course. We're also looking to do more senior content because the Tunga community has more than just senior developers or junior developers, right? In Uganda, it's what we'd call Katogo for my West African friends or my Kenyan friends. Katogo is like a mix of things. So yeah, we don't just have junior developers, we have intermediate developers and we have senior developers. And the goal is that everyone that is part of our community benefits from being a part of Tunga. Yeah.
Cool. How do you spell Katogo? Sorry.
Katogo.
All right.
Go.
All right. I'd like to call back Lynn again for a third and final poll. I think we're on time. Lynn, can we roll the poll up? Cool. Take on the floor quickly this time round.
Yeah, thank you, Roger, and thank you everybody before that. So the last poll here comes: why do you think you have failed to land a job at Tunga? Here we are going to choose what's most appropriate. I know there could be more than one reason, but please go ahead and start selecting your best answer. Sometimes you might think you lack developer skills required, or maybe you think I lack the soft skills required, and you might say the IQ tests are too hard if you've taken some, or you think they are hard, or you could say the opportunities never seem to match my skill set, and that will be an answer that makes you question a lot of things. What is your skill set, and what do you have the skill set Tunga needs, and what does Tunga need from you? I don't know. I never get feedback from the talent manager or Tunga in general after I apply. Now that could make us as Tunga question a lot of things, and
Yeah,
why
you
we
want
don't
to
get
fire
back to
me.
you.
You just
All
want
these
to fire me.
answers, sorry?
You want
Sorry?
to fire
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Some people might need to get fired depending on the answers. So feel free to select what's most appropriate. But all I can say, Roger, is behind each of these answers, there are reasons behind the answers for why people choose them. So I think it would be a good thing to know where people lie and why they are there. It could also be a self-touch that you ask yourself why I chose this answer. To start with, might find yourself answering your own question. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. Since we're running out of time and we have a Q&A, can we please vote in the next 5 seconds, such that we can have a small 1-minute discussion on the results? Okay. 5 seconds are done. Let's look at the results, please. Yes, they're done. A second is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are still voting.
They're
But
still
I
voting?
think we know by now where the majority lie. Okay.
All right, cool.
Poll is ended and sharing results.
Interesting. We're having a job mismatch mainly. I can see someone commenting because they don't have enough experience. That's maybe mismatch in skill set. It looks like whatever our clients want is not what skill set they actually have. In my experience, I've seen that you may find someone or client requires maybe an Angular developer, but at the end of the day, they also want someone to have other minor skill sets they're good in, apart from not only being an Angular developer. So this ends up throwing out some people and leaving in others because of such small minute things. Viola, what do you think?
No, I totally agree with you. I want to say it's so they probably want a specific framework or a specific library, and
Correct.
that kicks out many people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right.
Okay, can I say something briefly to Viola and Roger? Because these two people, actually, if you've noticed, they work in the same office. So I'd like to represent the junior / people who think they don't have the skill set and ask a question. Okay. Usually, yes, the matching of the skill set is a big deal, but what if came onto an opportunity, a gig? Won't you guys train me for those little things, little tiny details that I'm lacking? Can't Tunga train me and I take on the gig? Like fill in the gap.
So that sort of ties into the last question. There's a question someone asked. I could answer now. If you notice right now, we have tiers, right? So for every development team, distributed team, there's room for a junior, a media, and a senior manager. And also the responsibilities vary, right? So if you're a senior, you can be a technical lead. If you're a junior, they'll probably give you 2 tasks. And this has changed from over time. So initially we were looking at how do we churn out the best work, but it's also now how do we churn the best work and encourage growth. So at the moment, as a junior, you have the opportunity to work on a team, on a project with senior developers and media developers. So that's one way that juniors can learn. The second question I wanted to respond to was, why does Tunga only employ developers and not other IT competencies? For example, cloud architect, IT support, and admin. So I think primarily we've also had this from designers, right? Like our biggest offering, 98% of our database are software developers. Our offering is software outsourcing. And also the client requests that we get are in line with software development. A few design gigs, a few DevOps gigs, but I haven't seen any systems administration. But
And
if there
more
is
maintenance
demand,
work.
if there is demand, right? And I like to iterate this, that we are creating opportunities for 21st century jobs, right? So it doesn't mean that we can't go there. It means that if there is demand in that direction, we will go there.
Correct.
But at the moment, the highest demand is software development, and that's where we are.
Sure. This question goes out to Alex, I think. If someone is using the development, the platform, and they are frustrated, they get some kind of frustration with the test, and want to end the session, what do they do? And how many attempts can they take on the test? Can I repeat, Alex?
No, I had that, but I don't think I'm able to answer that. Maybe Viola can help me on that one. I'm not really sure I know how many attempts one can take. Yeah.
So based on how we do it right now, yeah, I think Alex, if you could take us to this first slide that shows soft skills, coding skills, technical skills. If you could take us back. So we've had scenarios where probably someone's IQ test is high, right? Or they scored really well in one test and not the other. So like I said, it's not written in stone. We have the flexibility, but sometimes you don't meet the IQ score, you don't meet the technical score, then there's no way we can think about, or even if you retook that test, you get it. So that's about it. So we have one chance. It's like it's like a one-off, right? Unless you're on the edge of like 196 or 198 and your culture affair intelligence just shows otherwise, then you're given a second opportunity. Otherwise, it's a one-off.
Cool, perfect. Right on time.
Just a minute, Roger. Maybe what I need to mention is that people always can reapply to join Tunga.
True. When, under which period will they use to apply?
So it's 3 to 6 months. Yeah. So within 6 months, you can reapply to join Tunga under the impression that your skills have improved, and and we hope that when you reapply, it actually shows that. Otherwise, you'd have to wait for more 6 months. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot. And everyone who has attended, we shall be releasing this webinar on our YouTube channel in the next few days, probably tomorrow. And also, we shall share the slides as well on our Slack channel. So please look out for that. I would like to thank Alex for your demo. Thanks a lot. Lane, thank you for your participation.
Hey.
It's really been great. Viola, I can't do anything without you, you know that. And thanks everyone, and have yourselves a nice day. Thanks and bye.
All right, bye.